Do you ever wonder if real change is even possible? At your school, on your team, at your workplace, or in your community? Maybe you feel like your Christian faith gets drowned out by all the other voices and beliefs around you. But what if I told you that even a small committed group could actually flip the majority, and that you could be part of it? In this episode of Be the 25, we're going to explore the 25% rule, a principle from social science that shows how a minority of committed voices can influence the majority to flip, and what that means for your life right where you are. So stick around. It all starts in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Be the 25 podcast, the place where teens and young adults come to explore how to live the Christian life in a non-Christian world. I'm your host, Dr. Sharon O'Hara. Come join us and get your faith ready for the journey ahead. Well, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Be the 25, the award-winning podcast that helps Christian teens and young adults to keep growing and keep going in their faith journeys. Today, we're talking about something that might just change how you see yourself and the impact you, yes, you, can have on the world around you. And yes, the world desperately needs your Christian influence, and we are called to influence it. Jesus said in Matthew 5:13, "You are the salt of the earth." What does that mean? Well, salt preserves food from spoiling and adds flavor. In the same way, Christians are called to preserve the truth in a world that's decaying and to bring the flavor of Christ's love wherever they go. But Jesus just didn't stop there. He also said in Matthew 5:14, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden." Light drives out darkness. It shows the way. Jesus said no one lights a lamp and hides it. They put it where everyone can see. And in the same way, your faith isn't meant to be hidden. It's meant to shine in your school, on your team, at your workplace, in your friend group, online, and in your community. If salt loses its saltiness or light is hidden under a bowl, the world misses out on the hope it desperately needs. And that's why your role as a Christian in today's world matters so much. We live in a world where many Christians feel like they can't make a difference because they feel like they're the minority. But here's the good news. Even if it feels like your Christian voice is small or that you're outnumbered by the majority, research shows that being in the minority doesn't mean you're powerless or invisible. And here's the surprising fact. You don't have to be the majority to change the direction of a group. Research shows that all it takes is 25%. That's 1 in 4 persons. Social scientists call this the 25% rule. Here's what they found. Social scientists ran experiments where a small minority in a group held a belief that was different from the majority. They wanted to discover what percentage was needed, what was the tipping point for the minority to actually influence the whole group. When that minority reached about 25% of the group, that was enough momentum to flip the entire group toward that belief. So, if 25% of a group has conviction, has consistency, and has courage to stand for something, whether a belief, a value, or a behavior, they can influence the majority and gradually shift the culture around them. Now, this change doesn't happen overnight. It happens gradually. But think about how powerful that is. You don't have to be the loudest voice or have the biggest crowd. You don't have to be the most popular person. What does this mean for you? You just need to be part of the 25%. That's 1 in 4 people willing to stand strong. That's being the 25 out of 100. The Bible is full of stories where a faithful minority made an impact. Daniel and his friends Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood firm in their faith, even though they were a tiny minority in Babylon. They didn't compromise on God's standards, and over time, their courage and obedience influenced the king and preserved God's people. Esther was a young woman in the middle of a huge kingdom and risked her life to stand up for her people. She got her fellow Jews involved to fast and pray. Their courage shows that even a small minority can change the course of history. The disciples faced cultures that rejected them, but by consistently preaching Christ, they gradually influenced whole communities. They eventually changed the world, proving that a faithful minority can spark a global movement. These examples show that being in the minority isn't a disadvantage. It's an opportunity. Charlie Kirk started the organization Turning Point USA when he was just 18, standing boldly for his beliefs even when the culture around him disagreed. His conviction, his consistency, and his courage allowed him to influence thousands of students across the country. And he's not the only one. College student Riley Gaines stood firm for her convictions about boys playing in girls' sports, despite the criticism. She teamed up with other athletes, lawmakers, and advocacy groups to raise awareness and promote fair competition, demonstrating how a committed minority can influence the public debate and create change for what is right. Several players of the Ohio State football team led a campus-wide Christian revival event that drew over 2,000 attendees. This gathering featured worship, baptisms, and personal testimonies highlighting the transformative power of faith in their lives. And their leadership didn't stop there. In the lead up to the 2025 National Championship game, these players continued to openly express their faith, emphasizing that their confidence and unity on the field were deeply rooted in their Christian beliefs. These modern-day examples mirror the Bible's teaching that even a small committed minority can make a huge difference. Maybe God is calling you to be the 25 who stand up and speak up in some other way. What does it take to be the 25? It takes 3 things: conviction, consistency, and courage. First, it takes conviction. Conviction is knowing what you believe and why it matters, so no matter what, you don't waver. What are your convictions about Jesus being the only way, about the Bible being reliable, about truth being absolute, and about living according to God's standards? What are your convictions about moral or cultural issues like abortion, marriage, sexual identity, substance use, drugs, getting drunk, vaping, media and entertainment choices, or other topics your friends or culture might challenge? What are your convictions about honesty, purity, kindness, fairness, respect, justice, and how others are treated? Your convictions matter. They keep you steady when everyone else seems to be going the other way. And without it, consistency and courage can't hold up. The second thing is it takes consistency. Consistency is putting God's word into action every day and refusing to compromise when it's hard or unpopular. It's living your faith day in and day out, not just when it's convenient or when people are watching. Small, repeated actions build influence over time. If you flip-flop or compromise your convictions, your Christian influence drops dramatically. Others won't take you seriously. But when people see that you live your beliefs without wavering, it creates credibility and it inspires others to follow. James 1:22 instructs us, "Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says." And James 4:17 adds, "Whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, to him it is sin." Here are some examples of consistency in everyday life. Praying and reading the Bible regularly, even when school, sports, or work get busy. Refusing to cheat or cut corners, even when everyone else is doing it. Maintaining your moral and biblical beliefs under peer pressure or cultural pushback. Standing firm against gossip, bullying, or inappropriate behavior day after day. Remember, small, steady actions repeated over time are what influence your school, your friend group, your team, and your workplace. Inconsistent behavior erodes credibility and limits your ability to impact others. Now, the third thing is this: it takes courage. Courage is standing up and speaking up and taking risks for what you know is right, even when it's uncomfortable, unpopular, or scary. Courage is what makes a minority group stand out and get noticed. It's inviting a friend to church or a faith conversation, even if they might laugh or reject you. It's sharing your faith in a respectful way in class discussions, at work, on social media, even if people might mock you. It's being the one who prays before a meal, a game, or at a group gathering, even if it feels awkward. 1 Corinthians 16:13 says, "Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong." Courage is what transforms your conviction and consistency into influence that others can see. It shows them that living for God is worth it and inspires them to step out in courage too. Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were courageous. Esther and her fellow Jews were courageous. The disciples were courageous. Charlie Kirk was courageous. Riley Gaines and those Christians on the Ohio State football team are courageous. How about you? Are you courageous in your faith? Are you willing to be part of the change, standing up for what's right, even when it's not popular? You can be. It takes conviction, it takes consistency, and it takes courage. That's how you be the 25. So next time you're tempted to think, "I'm just one person, I don't matter," remember this: your faith, your actions, and your voice matter more than you realize. So what step can you take this week to be the 25? What convictions do you hold dear? Where do you need to show consistency? Where is God calling you to step out in courage? Take that step and watch God use you to shift the culture around you. Start the shift. Be part of the change. Let's be the 25. Thank you for joining us today on Be the 25. If you found this episode helpful, why not take a moment to share it, rate it, and write a review on Apple Podcasts? You know, your feedback really helps spread the truth. And don't forget to check out all our resources at BeThe25.com. You could submit your faith-related questions there too. It's all designed to help you keep growing and keep going. I'll see you next time